Oh, yeah, it's been a while, Jay, since we've done a podcast. I think it's been like a month and some change on that. Um, Reason being is I haven't given up doing podcasts. It's just been really busy over here at my house. We got four kids in baseball, so
Nice.
I go from waking up early, going to work, going to baseball for like 3 4 hours every night. Come home, go to bed, repeat five 5 days a week. So when it is the weekends, I definitely like to get out and do stuff to relax with that. So anyone out there that's like, where are they? Well, it's just that time of the year.
It's
Plus,
just life.
yeah, it's just life. And then, I mean, the stuff that's been coming out lately, it's worth talking about, but I feel like it's so fast. It's always changing up, and it's just not something you can really grab on,
Right.
right? Or it's not something anyone wants to grab on because it's all today's news is just hearsay. You could see it going to work or going to the store if anyone brings up politics or the news at all, because it feels like the past 4 years really shoved politics into our faces, and now we got to deal with it, and or everyone thinks they have to. Everyone wants a word in about the politics, so they cling to different, like, no one thinks anymore. They cling to different sides. Like the left is like, oh, I really hope Trump isn't going to get that third term, and I'm like, I don't think he would even want a third term. Oh well, you know he's the bad guy. He wants to control everything. He's a dictator, and that's not what I've seen. I've seen some executive orders that have reversed some other executive orders since he's been in office, but I haven't seen him be like, we're taking it all over. I mean, they about pooed their pants when he's like, "Oh, we're gonna investigate all federal government for waste and for people stealing," and the left just freaks out. I mean, and then it gets to some point, it's the right saying crazy stuff now. I I have a grandma who, I mean, she's loses their mind on the right, and I'm like, stop watching Fox News. They're also lying to you. But we're starting to lose that middle ground there, I think. But it's scattered all over the place. Like everyone's an alt version of something
Hmm.
when it comes to their opinions about it. And honestly, I don't want to hear about it. And that's what it looks like. It's like that TikTok 15-second attention span, but news version. It's like, look at this, look at this. And depending where you're watching, it has a different story. But instead of like a left story, and then you have to divide it up and read through it and find out probably what's really going on, they're all mixed. There's like 30 of them. And honestly, they're all lying to you. So it's been like that. I'm sure you've turned your head away from a lot of the stuff in the news that's going on, and
Oh yeah.
fig- figured today would be a good day to kind of jump in some stuff.
Yeah, just
But
been doing other stuff, trying not to pay attention.
mhm, that's what I've been doing. We just got down from fishing just a few minutes ago. Didn't catch nothing. I caught one little tiny thing. That was it. But going out there where it's quiet, and taking the kids that like to do it, and them being quiet, it's really peaceful. It's a good way to end a weekend. And if you have the chance to do it, anyone out there, definitely do it. It's still a way to like find common ground, I guess, with emotions and everything that's going on. It slows the world down for you. I'm trying to pull up this pod that we're on right now to be able to share it real quick. Forgot to share it to a couple people. Let's see. There we go. Okay. All right. But yeah, I saw this article just a few minutes ago, and it was pretty wild. I thought, it says Trump shares unfounded conspiracy theory claiming Biden was executed in 2020. And before I read this, I do have a question for you, because it keeps coming up in my daily life, or I keep hearing about it, right? Biden. Why are we still talking about Biden? People would say, but, and I saw a video the other day, allegedly Biden's granddaughter saying that he's been dead for years, 4 years, she said, and that he has a twin brother named Bo, just like his son who had passed away, who's been the guy who's been playing Biden. I think it's Jim Carrey or someone, a professional who actually, does this stuff for a living. But do you believe everything That the narrative was set out to be like this guy was the president. He was signing him, those deals, those executive orders. That it was him every time when he was on camera.
Nope. I don't even believe he was ever president. I believe Trump continued his presidency, and this is his unofficial fourth term.
Third,
Fourth.
fourth. Ooh, elaborate on that for me.
Well, actually, no. Yeah, that your my mathing is not right. Yeah, third term.
Okay, because I was like, he did a shitty job the first 4 years.
Yeah. If if
Obama.
anyone would like to look this up, look up the inauguration for Biden into the 2020 presidency. The whole thing was not according to what it's supposed to. It was basically a military funeral that happened. All the timing wasn't right. The swear in wasn't right. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that didn't line up according to past presidential inaugurations.
Yeah, I remember that. That was weird. You had like active military members coming out, big names too, all over, and they were going, "This is not how this is supposed to be." And I can't walk you through it. I can't remember, but it was. I mean, what the amount of shots fired, or that the shots were even fired, or it was weird.
Oh yeah, there's that. Plus there's
Uniforms.
this. Yeah, that too. But the whole inauguration, the time he swore was sworn in was, I think it was past or was before the actual time it was supposed to happen. So even the timing wasn't right because it has to follow like a certain time frame. Like it's a ceremony, right? So it has to
Hmm.
follow a certain script, and it didn't.
Yeah, for for sure. It does, and I'm my entire life, right? The Okay, let's try to elaborate on this. So the police, everyone thinks, oh, they do what they do, and yeah, sometimes they make mistakes. But when you go to the doctor, you always thought as a kid, younger person, oh, this person really knows what they're doing. I should listen to them. They have the answer to everything. When it comes to the government, even state, you'd be like, oh, they got it under control. Sometimes they mess up, but the federal government does not make mistakes, and that reminded me of the press secretary a month ago when they were having mic troubles. I'm like, do we really think that the White House was having microphone troubles, or did they need to cut it short for something? But none of that stuff is what Jay's saying. Is it's not accidental. They didn't accidentally miss the time. They didn't accidentally put all these things in. It's like a movie. Anything you see in the movie, it's meant to be seen. There's no accidents with that. It's pre-planned. There's a way to do it. They have unlimited funding, and they have the very best of the best that do it.
Right. And you have all those weird little things where you had so-called President Biden at the Oval Office, and then there's weird things that's misplaced or out of place when you look at like the background, the table, the windows. Supposedly, it wasn't even at the White House, and the White House was like gated up, like no one in and out kind of thing. And the weird thing about it was, the president wasn't able to go into or use um, Air Force One. They had to use a different plane, which was really weird because the president needs to use Air Force One or the presidential plane, right? So
Right.
there was a lot of things that was very off.
There was. And it was, let me think. Yeah, because right before that, right before Biden got in, the left was like actually storming the White House. But they didn't have like the barricades up. And then right after Biden got in, I remember that all of a sudden they just put a bunch of barricades, and they talked about it like, oh, the extremist right wingers are going to come get us, is what they played it off as. And then That's what we saw. No matter what media you saw, it was like them being, you know, dictators. And but it looks like what it was, right, was preparation for him to be inaugurated, but it was actually a show of his death, I'm guessing, or whatever the hell that was. But it for
Oh,
sure was not him becoming president,
yeah.
for sure. And then I don't know, some people, it just depends. But when he mysteriously went to the hospital or reports about it and then he disappeared there for a while, which not saying he was there all the time, right? Biden didn't do anything in office by himself other than like walk off stage or lick some ice cream, which is weird symbolism in and of itself. But when he came back out of that hospital, all of a sudden he looked like he was 6'4", like 2 inches taller than Trump walking down the hallway. And that's the biggest thing that sticks in my mind. You can't fake that. He didn't have, 7-inch shoes on. And Trump met with the guy. It's like they already knew he was going to take presidency. And at that same time, if you remember or want to go back, that's when Biden was all friends with Trump right before the election, and Biden put on that MAGA hat. So it's like they knew. Someone knew. Someone in power. It's like what we're watching is very powerful people fight each other in their own little weird twisted chess game.
Well, it was, in my view, it was just a show. It was the show for people not in the know. Because if the president, the current president, were to come out saying we've been in a state of war this whole time, people would be like going batshit crazy. Like, what do you mean we're in a war? Kind of thing. And it pretty much started in during the COVID time frame, right?
Absolutely.
This whole thing leads back into the whole Epstein thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why there was like that medical ship that sailed to was it California and rescued those kids.
So I didn't actually read the details on that one, but yeah, there was a bunch of kids found.
Yeah,
Not much came out about it though, and it wasn't on the mainstream news.
yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah, because the first thing Biden did, right, was shut down the pipeline and then open the border. And it wasn't, oh, come on, third world country people, come in. They pretty much traded it. You can come in here and have, quote, freedom, end quote. But your kids are going to stay, and we're going to put them in boxes. And then, what, 350,000 of them go missing? Is that what the number was? I'm pretty sure. It was something crazy like that.
It was something high.
Yeah, it was something very high. And I don't know what that was about. I have no idea. Let me hit this article. So Trump is actually talking about it now, that the guy standing in with Biden. Oh, question real quick. I just thought of it before I forget. Do you think so? Just for the sake of this question, let's say that there's two sides, right? There's Trump's side and let's say Obama's side. And I only say that because what Biden seemingly did during those years, or whoever was in charge, looked a lot like Obama. Do you think there was an Obama Biden and a Trump Biden? And that's why when Trump was seen with Biden, he was so much taller?
Well, assuming it was Biden that was there, he was basically a puppet. He was the voice for Obama.
Right. I mean, under the control, though. So,
Yeah.
like I said, when he was seen with Trump, all of a sudden he put on a MAGA hat. They were shaking hands, being friends. Do you think that, like, it's whoever can put him on the stage in front of the world kind of has that influence? So, like, that was Trump's Biden that they control, and then there's another one or multiple out there that the other guys control.
Yeah. There's no secret that there are body doubles and like the whole customized masks where someone could just wear a mask that looks like another person, like almost like down to the exact detail. Yeah, it's anyone could be posing as someone,
Oh yeah.
especially like someone in a position of power.
Hmm.
Like I believe there's multiple Trumps. There's not one Trump, and
Oh yeah. I
it's
believe that too.
there. He has body doubles. I'm pretty sure um, he has one or two, just to like if there's a high situation going into like another country, he
Hmm.
would have the double goal kind of thing for
Oh
security
yeah.
purposes.
After getting shot too,
Oh
which
yeah.
I'm not sure which aisle you sit on that one, but I I think he was shot. I don't know if it was by his own people or not. I don't really know how much that matters. It depends on how far you go down that hole because there's reasons for him to be shot that he would want or like prophecies to fulfill when you're looking at like the Jewish biblical Bible. There's stories about it. And then there's also like obvious ones where his enemies tried to kill him or simply just to obviously this guy got the vote. I remember texting people after he was shot and going, guess we just found out who the next president is. No one's getting shot and technically, the head and not going to win the vote. There's no way. That's a Hail Mary. But I mean, it could have been a Hail Mary both ways if someone tried to actually kill him.
Yeah.
The magic bullet. And there was multiple shooters on that one for sure. Definitely. On the tower. So it says President Donald Trump on Saturday night reposted a baseless claim on Truth Social that former President Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced with clones or robots. See, that is insane to be reading on NBC News. 2025. This is why this stuff is so hard to follow because this is not real world, right? This is not what NBC should be posting about. Oh, he's crazy. Is he crazy? This guy is the president of the United States. Twice. Has beat them left and right. Every time they say he's wrong, he is right. Every time they say they're going to beat him, they lose. This guy, same guy, president, said that Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced with clones or robots. Probably both. Which clones could be masked people. It could be actual clones. It could be, I mean, all of the above. But the president of the United States claims that Joe Biden was executed in 2020. And that goes along with what you believe, with him being in power and them having these, whatever it's called in the background. All the bad guys, the swamp getting drained behind the scenes. Let's see. Says the original post made by an anonymous Truth Social user who often spreads outlandish claims suggested that Biden was replaced with clones, doubles, and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities. Trump published a link to the post to his nearly 10 million followers without adding any context or explanation. I think the post was the context and explanation. The original poster's account has a little more than 5,000 followers. That's crazy. So it's an anonymous account with 5,000 followers. There's quite a bit of power in that. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment Sunday explaining why Trump shared the post and whether he believes Biden was executed in 2020. Now they want to ask questions. Trump has frequently taken to sharing misinformation and unproven conspiracy theories over the years. He repeats, see, that's their disclaimer, like false disclaimer. This guy's full of crap. This is why we're not going to prove anything to you right now. We're not going to show you all the articles we've had to recede and apologize for and pay people for, but we're just going to say he's full of crap. He also claimed before he backtracked that former President Barack Obama was not born in the United States and during the 2024 campaign alleged that Haitian immigrants were eating the pets. For when Haitian immigrants were eating the pets, we've seen random people recording it. And President Barack Obama, right, his the only person, and this, you guys know all about this, being from or in Hawaii. The what was it? What was it? Whichever general. She was the only one allowed to look at Obama's birth certificate, and died on an airplane. And if my memory serves me correctly, nobody else died on the crash in the ocean. And it actually came out that she had died before from a heart attack or heart-related issues before it hit the water. Which goes back to the heart attack gun. So pretty much they killed this lady so she couldn't say anything about it. She wasn't playing ball. Says Trump circles too has spread conspiracy theories with some of the top brass in the administration having spread misinformation about vaccines. Let's get specific here. Which vaccines, right? Or the so-called deep state. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has repeated a debunked claim that the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine causes autism. The FBI director and deputy director have spread claims that the Biden administration and the deep state weaponized the FBI against Trump. They did, and vaccines with the heavy metal in it does cause autism. The signs of autism in a small baby and a child when they get older as a child is ding, 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 heavy metal toxicity. Go look that up. Go look at what's inside of those vaccines. So, just to rebuke that information about the vaccines, I got to talk to a doctor who tried to convince me to get my son a year ago when he was just born. All the shots, but even just one. And I read it out to her and I said, have you seen the inserts? And she tried to say yes. And I was like, well, here's a fact about it, and told her how much heavy metals were in that. I said, if I took those 2 shots right now and called it in and said, I've taken this much heavy metals into my body to the poison hotline, they would tell me to go to the emergency room via the weight. And she's like, yep, can't argue with that. This guy knows what he's talking about. And then Google heavy metal toxicity in children. Find out what it does. Go look at it. It is autism. Let's see. Nathan is messaging us. He's going to be on the next one. So jump to this next article. I'm going to take a pause for just 60 seconds if you want to say anything, Jay, and I will be right back.
I have nothing to say.
And as promised. All right. You there, Jay?
Yep, right here.
Right on. Right on. Let's see. So this next article, I don't know if you've heard, but it was actually the Fox News guy asked Trump if he was thinking about pardoning Diddy. And it looks like he says he doesn't know, that they used to be friends, and he's going to have to look at the details. But that by itself is scary. And this conversation came up the other day. I don't think he would do it, but we live in such a crazy world, right? But if Donald Trump was to pardon Diddy, it would be the end of Donald Trump. What do you think about that?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it'd be insane, right? It'd be like covering
Like
up
a
Jeffrey
lot of
Epstein.
a lot of people will be questioning his decision to do that.
Mm-hmm. That was weird. My headset just like got super quiet. All right. Let's see. Oh, so 50 Cent is like, that's not going to happen. So 50 Cent is looking to give President Donald Trump his 2 cents. Love the play on that. About Sean Diddy. In an Instagram post on May 30th, the In the Club rapper said he'll reach out to Trump after the president said he would look at the facts in Combs' case, suggesting a pardon could be on the table. 50 Cent shared a clip of the president's comments in his post and wrote that Combs said some really bad things about Trump, adding that he will reach out so he knows how I feel about the guy. Okay. In a follow-up post, 50 Cent suggested Combs' past comments about Trump could prevent a potential pardon. Donald Trump doesn't take too well to disrespect and doesn't forget who chooses to go against him, he wrote. He also shared a screenshot of an article suggesting he was trying to nuke Combs' chances of pardon, clarifying, I didn't say I would nuke anything. I simply said I would make sure Trump is aware. So even 50 Cent, I mean, they have beef, I guess. 50 hates this guy. And I'm sure he has reasons. Hopefully it's not butt related reasons, but you know, I guess we'll find out. But I don't know. He's the president. He can't say certain things. So saying he would look at the facts is exactly what you would tell the jury to do, right? Look at the facts.
Yeah.
He can't go, oh, I'm going to pardon him. Because the jury's going to go, why even do, it's jury tampering. I think he's going to go, I'm not involved in this. So when this Epstein lover gets taken down, the finger's not pointed at me. I think a lot of the power moves, I think you'll agree with this, being played are behind the scenes. So you're not allowed to sit here and make open discussion about these kinds of things. All right. And then, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a Boulder attack in Boulder. It says multiple people injured in act of terror, FBI says. And I just saw an updated video on it. It looks like some Russian guy. He has a Russian accent or some sort of accent that's kind of like Russian. And he's got alcohol in his hands. And I guess he was throwing it on people and lighting it or something. But you'll have to watch it. And just the beginning of this article, they're already making it about protect the Jews, which is absolutely insane because in the video, I don't see any Jews. And the only thing I do see is a giant tranny flag behind him. So it says a suspect carried out a heinous attack on a pedestrian mall in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday afternoon, leaving multiple people hurt, including some who appeared to have life-threatening injuries. And if you notice this, these things only happen in gun-free zones. Yes, there's quotes around that, but seriously, gun-free zones, what they claim to be gun-free zones, this only happens there. There's some lady in the video, if I had my gun, she don't have a gun. She's a liar. Boulder, Colorado. Libtardville. So, and anyway, the guy looks like he has his hair bleached blonde, like Eminem. Older man. No shirt, wearing jeans and a belt. And dark sunglasses, like the same exact sunglasses that all the feds were wearing, like around January 6th. So, who knows? False flag. I don't know why the hell they're already jumping on the Jewish side of things. Let's see if it says it. It says, while the details were not immediately clear, police said the attack occurred where a pro-Israel demonstration was being conducted. You don't see that in the video. And that the injuries were consistent with people being burned. A suspect was taken into custody without incident, police said, which is crazy, right? Because there's a big old tranny flag in the background. So I don't know why they're calling it a pro-Israel demonstration. Unless it's not Israelis doing it. It's the far left in their furry costumes. FBI Director Kash Patel said officials were investigating the incident as a targeted terror attack. The FBI believes the attack was ideologically motivated violence, according to early information, the evidence, and witness accounts, Deputy Director Dan Bongino added. So he was yelling stuff, and he was yelling that they were killers, whoever he was talking about. While police say it's too early to speculate on the suspect's motive, the attack in Boulder comes at a time of heightened violence, including high-profile incidents against the Jewish community. See how this is written? The pro-Israel demonstration was a run for their lives walk aiming to raise awareness about the remaining hostages in Gaza. The organization hosts global run and walk events, calling for the immediate release of the hostages held by Hamas, according to its website. If you stopped murdering each other, you guys would be able to get back your hostages. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Leo Terrell, head of the anti-Semitism task force at the Just... Holy crap. I can't believe we have one of those. Said that an incendiary device, it was like alcohol, it was bottles of alcohol, was thrown at participants in the Run for Their Lives walk. This was not an isolated incident. Terrell continued, this anti-Semitic terrorist attack is part of a horrific and escalating wave of violence targeting Jews and their supporters simply for being Jewish or standing up for Jewish lives. That's crazy, okay? And I remember when the war started and the left did get a little crazy. I'm not sure how crazy it's gotten because I haven't seen a lot of it. But this sounds a lot like when Biden was in office and they started talking about how the biggest terrorists on earth are white conservatives, men. That they are the biggest gang, whatever organization, criminal organization that we have to worry about. It's all white conservative men. That's what this sounds like to me. And that black people are being murdered in the street. Says the attack happened on the eve of a Jewish holiday, Shavuot, which isn't a big deal because every other day for them is a holiday, making it all the more chilling and cruel. It's not, because like every other day, it's like one a week. They have 1 million of them. A spokesperson for the organization, Miri Kornfeld, said in a statement to ABC News that 5 people were burned, including an elderly woman whose clothes caught fire. Boulder police did not have an exact number of victims, their conditions, or how they were injured. So people are already speculating that this guy was a Fed. Have you heard about this, Jay? Oh, Jay fell out. Where'd he go? Let's see if I can get him back in. Oh, nope. No worries, Jay. You're good, bro. See, it says President Donald Trump has been briefed on the targeted terror attacks. A senior White House official told ABC News Colorado Governor Jared Polis called the attack a heinous act of terror. Hate-filled acts of any kind are unacceptable. While details emerge, the state works with local and federal law enforcement to support this investigation. Boulder police, while calling the attack a tragedy and unacceptable, were not yet at the point of labeling it terror. Those are the people right here who you would want to pay attention to. The actual police, the people on the scene, the people who know the area, know the people. That's them, the local police. The incident occurred just before 1:30 p.m. on Sunday at the intersection of 13th Street and Pearl Street. Responded to reports of a man with a weapon that people were being set on fire. Sounds way crazier than it was from what I saw. When they arrived, there were multiple victims at the scene with injuries consistent with burns. Police were still investigating how the injuries occurred. The scene has been contained but have evacuated the area. Did they kill this guy or not? Let's see. I'm not sure if it said that. Yeah, it doesn't say. Well, anyway, let us know what you guys think on these. And this is like a developing story. So it's going to be a conspiracy in and of itself. And yeah, let us know about any of the topics that you saw today. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one.